Hello guys, it's Peter from PS Sound, and in this short explain video I'm going to run around this Ford Focus ST. What year is it, Chris?
2007.
2007, there you go. Which is in an amazing state. We will show you a bit more than just the audio, because this car has had a lot of tender loving care, right?
Oh yes.
It has been your baby. How many years have you had it?
8 years.
8 years. Second wife. So this project on the audio side has been running now for a good 2 years at least.
Nearly 3.
Nearly 3. It has gone through many phases, but I think this is the right time to show it to the world, because now it's pretty complete. I don't think you need to do anything else to it.
No.
Right? And I think wife is going to agree even more.
Yeah.
Time to enjoy it. It's time to enjoy it for sure. Let's come to the booth and let's have a look. So now what we see in the booth, it was built mainly by you with help from Paul, right?
Yeah.
Just to be clear about the situation. So you already had that one done before, but that was done by the trim panel. Was it you or?
No, Gav.
Gav helped. So Gav from Subtronics was also involved in this project a while ago. And at some stage, I think you had a JL prefab box, a 10-inch ported, right? In the boot. That's when I saw the car at some point. And it needed a lot of work, because it was actually a funny conversation. I remember when first you just called me and you were asking me that, you know, what's happening with the doors? You know, Pete, I want, what, I don't even know, yeah. You were saying that the mid-bass is not performing.
Yeah, it's lacking mid-bass in the front.
Yes. And you called me on the phone and we had a chat. And at some point when you mentioned that the car was professionally tuned by a bit tune system, right?
Yeah.
Because at that time you had an Audison DSP amp. Or just DSP. Yes, you had a standalone Audison DSP.
Yeah.
And you said it was tuned by bit tune. And that's when I said, you know what, just bring the car down to me, let me listen to it, and let me give it a tune. I always give 100% guarantee. If people don't like the difference I can make in the system, they can walk away and they don't owe me anything. And I told you that I could guarantee that I could make better performance out of your system and more kick bass that you were looking for without changing the speaker, because you wanted to hear from me what we could do with the door, what mid bass we could put into it to get more kick bass. And I said, you know, over the phone I can't tell. How can I tell what it performs like? And then even at that time I could come across a bit cocky and big-headed, and I was even called out on that, I remember. Because you went, oh yeah, Pete, but how can you just say that over the phone, that you can make such a big difference? And you just mentioned that you didn't even hear this. So how can you tell it can be better? And then just because when you mentioned it was tuned by bit 1, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm 100% guarantee I can make a massive difference. Because usually cars that come to us for tuning sessions, and previously they were tuned by other shops with bit 1, not bit 1, the bit tune. Yeah, they are crying for help. And I don't know, somehow I managed to convince you to come down. What was the selling point? Maybe the 100% guarantee?
Yeah,
that you had nothing to lose?
That was the main key part.
And that was the first tuning session we had back in the day. And what was the difference?
Astonishing.
Yeah, it just transformed the car, even with that state of that install at the time, when you only had a door that wasn't even treated properly. You just had a prefab subbox at the back, and suddenly it came alive. Then you had a clear path what needed to be done, and you did a good fair bit of it. Then you were looking for more punch, more bass, and then you had a sidestep, you had a sub that didn't work out at the time. Then I was suggesting to get this Focal sub, because this would do a better job. And then at some point you went, no, I need 2 of them. Yeah. I need all of it.
I was a bit greedy.
You found one second hand, right?
Yeah. Well, it was new, but never used.
Yeah. These subs are great value. They can go loud too. Currently these are imported enclosure. The ports are on the side, venting underneath the trim panels. Paul designed them and tuned them, Currently the box can go down to 29, 30 hertz confidently. Below that, yeah, it's just difficult when you have smaller boxes and then tuned higher. But at the upper bass, at the playful bass that you actually need, especially the musical genres that you play, because you play a lot of rock,
Yeah.
you play electronic as well.
Yeah, transmitter.
You are not necessarily listening for IB crazy performance, sub 20 hertz madness. You want playful, tight bass that can make you groove and move and
Yeah, make you smile.
exactly. So currently that guys understand what's happening. So the Audison DSP was changed at some point to a DSP Pro Mark III. It's a Mark III, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the Mark III. Then now we have that SR 1.500 running the front sub. You will see that in a second, what's happening up front. This one, what is this one running right now?
That runs the front mids and front mid bass.
Okay, and then you have an extra amp hidden.
That's under the passenger seat.
Okay.
For rear doors and front tweeters.
Yep. Is it the same amp?
Same one, but the baby version of that.
I see. Okay. Now we have to show this part as well, because this is fully your work. What happened here?
That's my blood, sweat and tears.
So that's where we have definitely thick enough cables and an extra AGM battery between the sub boxes. So this is where you have the port on the boxes all along, all the way down, and then everything is fused properly. You have the front battery charging coming in, linking to the rear battery, distro for the small amps, big fuse for that B2 monoblock. Was I suggesting that, or just?
That's when it came up at the right price, and I thought, well, we'll just give it a go and see what happens.
Because I think at some point I was looking at the ground zero version of that. They are very similar. So that's around 3 kilowatt at whatever 1 ohm maybe, I don't know. It has plenty of juice and it's very compact. Yes, it's Class D, very efficient, but for the subs it does a good job. We haven't seen it clipping, not once today, and the subs are definitely getting plenty of abuse. Everything is bolted, secured properly. Yeah, you did a great job. All the terminations are done great, as it should be from everybody.
But that's from watching your videos. So.
Oh yeah, you definitely watched a few videos of ours. I saw that. So up front we have nice big pillars which you bought from someone else, right?
Yeah, they were on Facebook Marketplace.
Somebody had these in their ST. At least that's the good thing. These are popular cars.
Yep.
And then it has the Audio Frog 4-inch mids, whichever range it is. Is it the GB or the
GS10?
Yep. And then Watcher tweeters. Yep. What mid bass have we got?
Focal PS165.
Yep. And then that's another addition that Gav did at some point when we were looking at a bit more upfront bass. And it was limited because there's only so much you can do in this car without modifying the carpet, which we were not happy to do. And then glove box became the next option. And it's a very small glove box, especially this way, that this can be turned back to factory still, right?
Yeah.
And Gav managed to squeeze in the Clarus 6.5 inch. I can't even see it through the grill, but it's the Clarus 6.5 inch sub, which does something. It doesn't do such a great upfront bass performance like usually we would expect, but yes, when you fit an 8, especially a 10, usually we fit a 10 upfront in a larger box, we definitely get more upfront bass. However, in this car, for the intended job, you didn't quite need that, because you want that tight, punchy bass kick coming from the rear subs. We are crossing them pretty high, and you need to cross them pretty high because unfortunately this little baby sub cannot really be targeted below 80 Hertz, so it only really does anything between 80 and 100, just to give a bit of support for the doors, because the doors are steel door replication, and it doesn't matter how much treatment you do to them. You heard it today when I muted mids and tweets in the car, the doors are working hard.
Yep.
But the good thing is, at least to the time we play the system loud, the mid and high frequency range takes over, and then you don't hear that much of an issue. Although now with this base setup, the roof is definitely need to be sorted out because the headliner is coming alive
Yes.
like crazy.
More work for me today.
So yeah, we had to integrate the sub and tweak the system a little bit because previously it was tuned. I don't even know when, last year, like midsummer. The front end didn't change since, and the system was performing well still. We just had to integrate the rear sub, and then this is where I need you, because this is some crazy stuff. So what have you done to
Okay,
this?
so engine's been fully forged. So we've got uprated pistons, conrods, relevant bearings, head gasket, cam belt, etc. Stage 1 camshafts, uprated inlet plenum.
Mm-hmm.
Focus RS turbocharger with associated pipework.
Yeah, the pipe work you've done here is just insane.
So we've had the top crossover pipe powder coated white to tie in with the plenum.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger injectors, 750cc, uprated fuel pump in the tank, and then it was mapped by Lee at Devils on Revo 4 Plus software.
So what power?
409 horsepower, which is ample.
Which only goes to front wheels?
Yeah, front wheel drive, but it has got a limited slip diff in the gearbox. That's by M Factory, and it's got a 6-paddle clutch as well to help keep things under control.
Well, you can definitely have fun with this engine. Although when people see a car like this, they kind of expect some performance from it, right?
Yeah, they've got a bit of a reputation to be modified.
Because many people like to modify it, especially in UK. There's just something with Ford and UK. It's
it's like fish and chips down the seafront.
that was a nice way of putting it.
It's classic.
Yeah, but yeah, you've done an amazing job here. It's so tight, it's so clean. Even when I saw it first, I'm like, holy shit! I can see the amount of time that was put into even just the planning and then the execution to get those things so clean, and all those clips, and just making sure that those washers are the same color as well, and it's all
ties in.
Yeah,
try and
exactly.
keep things unison.
So, but that was before the audio project, or
yeah, the engine wise was before the audio project.
So that was the first 5 years.
Yeah, it was probably 4 years in the planning and building of everything there, and then the brakes had come on after, because obviously it wouldn't stop on the original brakes, so we had to try and do something with those.
So you have some crazy stuff there too.
So we've got some uprated calipers and discs, fast road pads, braided hoses. Yeah.
Mad stuff. Well, but then that's how you create your own baby. You can say that you have a system that's,
Just
yours.
put my own stamp on it.
Exactly. And then you were not sure what you would get from this setup, especially with these two subs now.
No.
You were catching for your breath.
Yeah, I had a couple of tight moments.
But yeah, that's what we wanted. Especially we haven't listened to rock yet to see how it punches on that. We have to check that out, but I'm sure this is pretty capable. You won't struggle screaming for more bass anymore.
No room.
Well, there's always more, but that would require big work. But honestly, I think this is the point when the car is also on the edge of being okay.
Yeah.
Because then you go beyond this base level, and then the car
is just going to start falling apart.
Yeah. You also treated the tailgate. Actually, from the back, I didn't hear buzzes, rattles. It's just rather the headliner, and then everything up front doors. They are the ones that go crazy. But this is the classic project that anybody can achieve. Doing custom pillars, mid-bass in the door. We also have rear feel. We forgot to mention that. I think we have something simple. Is that also the PS range from Focus?
It's the lower end focal range.
Mid-bass in the door. Tweeter up there, but it's doing a great job. I created different presets where you can run the rear doors running normal, and then it plays full range, but even that's tied to the front, so it's not messing up the stage. Actually, it's rising the stage height. It's quite weird when people experience that when I do that trick. And you definitely get more level if you want to have fun, and if you are not listening to music so critically, rather with a fun pair of ears that you have. And then of course we have preset where we have the rear doors running differential, and then you have more of an ambience presentation. You get more room information with them, and this is now a sweet little system. Guys, hopefully you got a bit of inspiration to do your own projects, and don't be afraid if it takes time. Don't rush it. Things have to be done right. And now there's even more to do.
That's right.
It never stops. But when it comes to the system, I don't think anything needs to change on this. It's just great value. It works well. You just have to get rid of the buzzes. That's all you need. Because then I can give you half more point.
Okay.
All right, guys, feel free to share it, especially in the Ford community. It may give the Focus fans a bit of inspiration. Feel free to comment, share it, all the usual things, and then we will see you in the next one. Take care.